Today I will be speaking on the East Sepik people of Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is a small island country just above Australia. It's about the size of California. It's a diverse jungle, swamp, mountainous country with some surrounding islands. But today I would like to focus on the Sepik region of Papua New Guinea. The Sepik region is, according to Palmer, one of the most linguistically diverse regions in all of Papua New Guinea. In fact, it holds over 250 languages, which is quite a few for the size of the Sepik region. The region spans a 700-mile area along this snaking river that starts along in the southern part of Papua New Guinea and goes up to the east and then to the Pacific Ocean. Now, along that 700-mile span, there's a bunch of different language groups and a bunch of different people that live there. They live in small hamlets, small villages, and it's a very rural and very tribal culture, far different from the way we live here. The people there live off the jungle. Their life source is the Sepik River. The New Guinea editorial staff, the editorial staff of the New Guinea Post talks about it this way. They say the river spans an area that is biodiverse and also culturally diverse. Now, the interesting thing about the Sepik culture is it's actually a collectivist culture, which is different than the culture in America. The culture in America is individualist culture. So the key difference, according to Kendra of Very Well Mind, is that collectivist culture values the collective or the whole group over the individual's values. So that is to the extent that even the individual's values or the individual's roles will actually be sacrificed or downplayed in a collectivist culture because they're not a value. That's far different from the way we live here. The way we live here is we each drive our own car, we each have our own place we live, our own bed, our own food. It's so much different in the Sepik culture of Papua New Guinea because they share everything and it's a communal-based culture which is intertwined and interconnected. If I'm a man living in the Sepik culture of Papua New Guinea, I can go right into a neighbor's house and ask them for some food, and they have to give it to me because it's a cultural norm. Another thing that's interesting about the Sepik culture is they treat the jungle and the Sepik River, their life source, they treat those things as if it's a grocery store. The jungle is their grocery store. In the same way that we would walk through, a Kroger or a Walmart and grab a jug of milk off the shelf, they'll walk through the forest and grab a seemingly useless leaf and it will be their dinner, or they'll find a small animal running around and that will be their dinner. They're a hunter-gatherer culture. So the key points to remember here are the Sepik culture is collectivist, which means they value the collective. They're hunter-gatherer. The Sepik River is their life source. And then the next point I want to bring up is the fact that they are an honor-shame culture. They're an honor-shame culture, which means they want to save face over shaming. So, like, what that means is, an example would be somebody falling. So, say somebody's walking along the path and they slip and fall. So, in an individualistic culture, we would go up to that person and we'd say, "Hey, are you okay?" Well, that is a no in collectivist culture, in the Sepik culture of Papua New Guinea. If somebody falls, you don't direct attention to them. In fact, you laugh at them. It seems counterintuitive in our individualistic culture or Western culture mindset. But what you do is you laugh at them because that deflects the shame and puts the focus back on the collective. Because now everyone is laughing together about the person who slipped and fell, and it's not a big deal. So again, there's the value of the collective there in that scenario. The other thing about the Sepik culture is it's a very old culture. In fact, according to O'Connell and Allen, it's thousands of years old. It was discovered in the 17th century, but we know, based on history and archaeological finds, that it's far older than that. So because of that, there's traditions that are built in, rooted in almost to the psyche of the Sepik people. Things like texting now. It's interesting how the traditions that are based in the culture that have been rooted there for so long, they don't affect people groups like the Sepik people because it's been in there so long. So what I'm saying is like a technological thing like texting on a phone. They have smartphones, but it's interesting because they'll still do their natural thing of taking their canoe down to see their buddy or walking along the jungle path to go see their friend or whatever it may be. So I find that very interesting. But the key takeaway here is this culture, this Sepik culture. It's like something you would see at a National Geographic. It's this location that the biodiversity of the region and of the Sepik River, it sustains this people group. In fact, if the Sepik River wasn't there and if the jungle wasn't there, this people group would be extinct. They're on the brink of extinction, but yet this geographical location is so diverse that it sustains their way of life. So I hope you guys learned something today about collectivist culture, about the way the Sepik people live on the river and live off the land. They're hunter-gatherers, and about how old and traditional the Sepik culture is. I hope you learned something today overall about the framework of the Sepik culture. But more importantly, I want to give you a takeaway. The takeaway is that this people group, they're relational and they're communal. So they live in community and in relation, and that's their way of life. They live right next to each other, and in villages or in hamlets that are intertwined, and they share everything, they do everything together. But the takeaway here is that people are people wherever they are. And so if we can learn anything from the Sepik people, I would say it's that we can look around and see what our community needs, see how we can best give back to the community. Because in individualistic culture, it's hard for us to put that value on the collective. But what I find is honorable about the Sepik people is how they value that collective, the group over the individual.